Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear students, today we are going to start a new chapter in history. This chapter is based on one of our great freedom fighter. He is the man who united India, the man who opposed casteism. He was the man of ethics, the man of principles, the man of peace. The world knows him by the name Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. But we Indians, we call him Bapu out of love. Bapu, the father of nation. Yes, students, this chapter is based on the life and struggles of Gandhiji for the freedom of India. Let us start the chapter number 8 of the history, Era of Gandhi and National Movement. Mahatma Gandhi played a major role in the Indian freedom movement. He created Gandhian way of struggle or Gandhi model of struggle in the Indian freedom movement. So the period between 1920 and 1947 is called as Gandhian Era. The thoughts of Gandhiji and the philosophical base of his struggles defined the Indian independence movement during this period. Gandhiji, the leader of masses, was born on 2nd October 1869 in Porbandar of present-day Gujarat's Kathiawar district. I hope students you know it very well that we celebrate 2nd October as Gandhi Jayanti. Why? Because Gandhiji was born on the same date 2nd October 1869 in Porbandar. Karamchand Gandhi was his father. And what was the profession of his father? He was the Diwan of Rajkot state. What is the name of Gandhiji's mother? Putalibai was his mother. Putlibai was a woman of great moral values. She was a religious woman. The father used to be away from the house. So Mohandas Gandhi came under the influence of his mother, Putlibai. As already mentioned, she was a great woman, a great religious woman. So she was the woman who inspired Gandhiji on various moral grounds. Gandhiji completed his basic education in Porbandar. And in the year 1888, Gandhiji decided to go England for higher studies. And he completed his bar at law and returned to India. After coming to India, Gandhiji was told to go to South Africa and join Dada Abdullah and Company. Though Gandhiji intended to be at Natal only for 3 months, but he ended up living in South Africa for 20 long years. There in South Africa, Gandhiji had to face the wrath of the apartheid. The South Africa was known for the crisis between blacks and whites. The natives of Africa were blacks, whereas the rulers were come from Europe, especially Britain. They were all whites. The whites considered blacks as slaves. So the white people, they treated the blacks like the slaves. And this policy of discrimination on the basis of color is known as apartheid. And when Gandhiji stayed back in Africa for 20 long years, he opposed apartheid. And he said, what kind of a policy is this? And then he invented a new tool of protest called Satyagraha. And he formulated its do's and don'ts. By do's and don'ts, what we mean? He formed the rules for the Satyagraha. For example, one of the rules was that whatever the protests will be there, they should be non-violent. So if there is violence, that means it will not come under Satyagraha, because it goes against the rules of Satyagraha. Many South Africans take pride to say that you sent us unformed Gandhi and we sent back the complete Gandhi. So with his experience in South Africa and the success he achieved, because he opposed in a non-violent way the apartheid policy, he could use all his experiences when he came to India. That's why the Africans say, you sent us Gandhiji, but he was unformed. But when we are sending him back to you, Gandhiji is complete. And he can lead the national movement even for India now. Now, the initial protests of Gandhiji. Gandhiji met his guru or political teacher Gopal Krishna Gokhale. Gopal Krishna Gokhale requested Gandhiji, why don't you travel to all of India? Why don't you travel the whole of India? Travel across the country to understand what are the problems faced by the people because of the British rule. So on the request of Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Gandhiji toured entire India in a third-class compartment to understand the real India of his time. So where is that you can understand the pain of the people? It's only when you will interact with them, when you will spend time with them. And it's not only that you will spend time with the rich people. No, you have to meet the common people and you need to understand what are the various problems they are facing in their life. One of the remarkable things is that Gandhiji started an ashram on the banks of river Sabarmati in Gujarat. It's popularly known as Sabarmati Ashram. Even today, it is the icon of Gandhiji's life. The people of all different castes used to come, stay there, they stay together. That's the world in itself. Gandhiji understood the problems of farmers, Dalits, tribal people, workers, laborers, and other sections of Indian society. In 1917, he launched Champaran movement. Now there might be a confusion. The students may get confused. What's Champaran? The students, Champaran is a place in Bihar where the farmers, they were forced to grow indigo. So indigo, a color dye, it was in great demand in England. And the Britishers, they forced the Indians to grow indigo. The farmers were not allowed to grow any other crops like rice, wheat, etc. So Gandhiji launched a movement known as Champaran movement to oppose this compulsion of Britishers and to support indigo farmers. And Gandhiji made the British government to accept the demands of farmers, and this movement was a great success for Gandhiji and the farmers of India. In fact, I would say the farmers of Champaran. In the initial protests, we also see that Gandhiji started a movement to support mill workers of Ahmedabad in 1918. He also opposed the land tax at Kheda village. What were the tools he used? What were the tools he used for his protests? He employed passive resistance, non-violence, and satyagraha. And he expressed his thoughts in periodicals like Young India and Harijan. So these are the two periodicals which were started by Gandhiji, and he expressed his ideas through them. And here we discussed the two strategies he adopted were Satyagraha and Ahimsa. What is Satyagraha? It is the assertion of the truth. And Ahimsa, the non-violence. Dear students, Gandhiji is an ideal for us. Another important thing here was that he wanted to unite Hindus and Muslims, because he understood this is the only method of improving India. Without unity between Hindus and Muslims, it is difficult to achieve freedom from the clutch of British. That's all about the initial protests. See you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.